Have you ever wondered how you would fare if stranded in the most extreme conditions on Earth? It's a question that might send a shiver down your spine, and yet it's one that some have had to answer in the most unforgiving circumstances. Picture this: the Sahara Desert, a vast scorching landscape where the sun blazes with an intensity that can turn even the most robust into a shadow of their former selves. It's a place where the heat is so intense that it can scorch your lungs, and the lack of water can leave your body shriveled like a raisin. Now, let's travel to the opposite end of the Earth, the Antarctic. Imagine the biting cold, a place so frigid that your breath freezes in the air before it can even escape your lips. It's a world painted in hues of white and blue, where the wind howls like a beast, and the chill can freeze your bones in a heartbeat. These are extreme environments, as divergent as fire and ice, and yet people have survived here against all odds. Let's take the tale of Mauro Prosperi, an Italian policeman with a penchant for adventure. In 1994, he found himself lost in the Sahara Desert during a 6-day marathon. He survived for 10 days, feeding on bats and reptiles, even drinking his own urine to stay alive. It was not his physical strength that saw him through, but his unwavering will to survive. Similarly, in the icy wilderness of the Antarctic, explorers have braved the unrelenting cold, battled frostbite, and navigated treacherous terrains driven by the same indomitable spirit. We often think of survival as a test of physical strength, but these stories tell us otherwise. It's not about who is the strongest, the fastest, or the fittest. It's about the will to live, the determination to fight, and the courage to face the most daunting odds. So here's a thought to ponder. How would you fare in the face of the unforgiving nature? Remember, survival is not about strength, but about the will to live. What does it take to survive where survival seems impossible? Imagine you're trapped, alone, in a desolate canyon with a boulder pinning your arm. This is no hypothetical scenario, but the very real experience of Aaron Ralston, an adventurer who faced a life or death situation in the wilds of Utah. His story is a testament to the power of the human spirit and the will to survive. Survival, as Aaron's story exemplifies, is not just about physical endurance. It's about mental resilience, the unyielding determination to live, even when the odds seem insurmountable. Aaron, trapped for 5 grueling days, was in a dire situation. He was dehydrated, exhausted, and his arm was crushed and trapped. But Aaron didn't surrender to despair. He chose instead to survive, to fight, to live. It's been said that survival is 90% mental, and Aaron's story underscores this truth. When his physical strength was spent, it was his mental resilience that spurred him on. He made the unimaginable choice to amputate his own arm with a dull pocket knife. It was a harrowing act of self-preservation, one that required not just physical courage, but a profound mental fortitude. This mental strength, this will to survive, is not unique to Aaron. It's a part of us all, a primal instinct that awakens when we're pushed to our limits. And it's this will that can make the difference between life and death in survival situations. The harsh reality of survival is not just about battling the elements or overcoming physical challenges. It's about the battle within, the struggle to keep hope alive, to keep fighting, to never give up. It's about finding the strength within ourselves to face fear, to face the unknown, and to do whatever it takes to survive. In the end, survival is not just about enduring, but about prevailing. It's about tapping into the deep well of our resilience, our courage, and our will to live, no matter the odds. The will to survive can push humans to do the unthinkable. What tools do you need when nature turns against you? In the face of adversity, the right gear can make all the difference. Survival tools, though useful, are not a surefire ticket to safety. It's not just about what you have, but how you use it. You see, survival is a 2-part equation. Preparation meets improvisation. Let's consider the story of Juliane Köpke, a 17-year-old girl who found herself in a dire situation. In 1971, Juliane was the lone survivor of a plane crash that left her stranded in the Peruvian jungle. She had no survival training, no gear, and her only sustenance was a small bag of candies. Yet, she managed to survive 11 harrowing days before being rescued. How did she do it? Julianne was resourceful. She used her knowledge of the rainforest, gleaned from her parents who were both zoologists, to find water and shelter. She followed a stream, knowing it would eventually lead to civilization. She relied on her instincts and her understanding of the environment. That's not to say survival gear wouldn't have been helpful. A simple knife can serve many purposes, from making tools to preparing food. A compass can guide you when landmarks are few and far between. Fire starters can provide warmth and a way to cook food, not to mention a morale boost. A first aid kit can treat injuries, prevent infection, and save lives. But remember, these tools are only as useful as the hands that wield them. Preparation is half the battle. Equip yourself with knowledge, understand your environment, learn basic survival skills, how to find water, build a shelter, start a fire. Practice these skills so when the time comes, you're not figuring it out for the first time. But the other half, that's resourcefulness, that's thinking on your feet. That's using a candy wrapper as a signal mirror, or using your shoelaces to build a shelter. That's the real survival tool. The one thing you always have with you. Preparation and resourcefulness are key to survival. How does one adapt when stranded in unfamiliar territory? This question is not just a hypothetical musing, but a critical aspect of survival that has determined the fate of many individuals who found themselves in dire situations. Let's take a look at the remarkable story of José Salvador Alvarenga, a Salvadoran fisherman who was lost at sea for an astounding 14 months. When a storm swept his small boat into the vast expanse of the Pacific Ocean, Alvarenga found himself in an environment as alien as any unexplored planet. The sea is a merciless adversary, offering little in the way of sustenance and shelter. Yet, Alvarenga did not succumb to despair. Instead, he adapted. He quickly learned to catch fish and birds with his bare hands, turning the ocean from a deadly enemy into a source of sustenance. By observing the behavior of these creatures and learning their patterns, he turned the odds of survival in his favor. But adaptation is more than just developing new skills. It requires a mental shift, a change in perspective. Alvarenga had to see the world around him not as a hostile entity, but as an intricate system where everything is interconnected. The sea, the birds, the fish, they all became part of his extended ecosystem, a network of life that he was a part of, not apart from. Understanding and embracing this interconnectedness is the core of adaptation. It's about finding a way to fit into a new, often harsh environment. It's about learning to read the signs nature gives us, to understand its rhythms and cycles, and to use them to our advantage. It's about turning obstacles into opportunities, risks into rewards. Adaptation is a testament to the resilience and ingenuity of the human spirit. It's about our ability to change in response to our environment, to learn from it, and to thrive within it. It's about turning the unfamiliar into the familiar, the unknown into the known, the hostile into the hospitable. Adaptation is not an option, but a necessity for survival. It's the art of turning the world around us into a canvas on which we paint our survival one stroke at a time. What can these stories of survival teach us? Now that's a question that reverberates with profound implications. As we journeyed through the unforgiving wilderness, across the daunting terrains of life and death situations, we've gleaned insights that are bound to leave a lasting impact. We've seen that survival isn't merely a game of physical prowess. No, it's far more profound. It's about mental resilience, the unyielding will to live that fuels us to push past our limits and defy the odds. It's about the tenacity to hold on when giving up seems like the only option. Remember the stories we've shared today. The strength of the human spirit can make the impossible possible. Preparation, we've learned, is the key to survival. Those who venture into the unknown, armed with knowledge and equipped with the right tools, stand a better chance of surviving. It's about understanding your environment, anticipating the challenges, and equipping yourself to meet them head on. So before you embark on your next adventure, take a moment to prepare, to learn, to equip. But what happens when all your plans fall apart? That's where resourcefulness comes into play. The ability to improvise, to make the most of what you have, can often mean the difference between life and death. It's about turning adversity into opportunity, about finding hope in the most desperate situations. And finally, the art of adaptation, the ability to adjust to new conditions, to learn from mistakes, and to evolve is crucial. In the face of adversity, flexibility is your greatest ally. It's not the strongest species that survive, nor the most intelligent, but the ones most responsive to change. So, as we navigate the treacherous terrains of life, let's remember these lessons. They are not just about surviving in the wilderness, they are about thriving in the journey of life. Remember, in the face of adversity, the human spirit is capable of incredible feats.